See how nice Facebook is?
Hi, Facebook.
Good morning, everybody. It's Natalie from Creative Makers. Thank you so much for being here. I'm happy to see you. And this morning we are here with Lisa Sachs. Lisa Sachs is I'm going to say you're an offshoot for me anyway, but you're not really an offshoot.
I'm a weirdo?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. No, I was thinking about how I met you, and I met you through the plein air group, the Mount Washington Plein Air Painters, which is I was a member of. I don't really know. Are we still in existence?
Yes.
Okay, we're
Even
still
though we
in
don't
existence.
plein air paint anymore,
No.
we Zoom.
We Zoom paint,
Yes.
Zoom things. Anyway, I got in the group even after you left.
I never really was part of the group, so
What?
it was my mother-in-law.
Oh,
Marion, when she moved out here, she was. We went to Rick. Rick, can you do something with our mom? Because she was a watercolorist.
Oh.
So that's what started it. I was too busy working.
I didn't know. Well, that makes complete sense now.
So I am an offshoot.
Oh, look, we have 2 people. Yay! Yay, 2 people.
Yay! An audience of 2. That's better than 1.
No, this is good.
Cool.
It's always nice to have an audience.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to ask you the first question,
Yes.
and then we're just going to sort of take off from there.
Okay.
So I want to know what creativity looked like to you as a kid. Like, what were you doing? How did it start?
She says she only asked one question.
That's it.
I don't know.
What?
No. I think I was painting very early. My mom encouraged it.
Now, was your mom an
No.
artist? No.
No.
Okay.
I guess she just saw that I don't know, she gave me a box of paints and I did shit with it.
Yeah.
Say shit?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can say. You can
Okay.
cuss. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. So I was very much into it at a young age. And then we moved to Europe when I was very young, at around, I think it was 10 years old. And before we moved, I used to play with Barbie dolls and paper dolls. This comes into handy later.
Okay,
collages.
Exactly.
Right. So I was really into that, and I was into setting up the interior space of my Barbie house. So I was doing interior decorating, architecture.
Yeah.
So then we moved to France, and I couldn't take any of those things with me. We had to downsize.
Oh.
And I ended up playing with marbles.
Okay.
Boule.
Boule.
So that was the extent of my creativity for a while. And then we moved to Israel and Switzerland in between, came back to the United States and went to high school at because I learned Hebrew and my parents didn't want me to lose it, sent me to a yeshiva, which is a Hebrew day school, religious. We were not religious.
Were you Jewish?
Yes.
Okay.
That helps.
I don't know.
I was Jewish, yes. I am still Jewish, but not religious. So there was no art class in that high school because religious Jews don't believe in showing figurative, you can't have idols, right? So the temples are very plain. It's not like cathedrals with stained glass. Reform Jews, yes. Orthodox, no.
Uh-huh.
So my mom signed me up for painting classes in the apartment building we lived in Boston. And so every evening I would go to this painting class and I would paint pictures like Golda Meir's portrait and, really boring stuff. But I learned how to oil paint. And so when it was time to apply to college, I thought I'd be an artist. And applied to Rhode Island School of Design.
Yeah, that's a big school.
And
famous school.
It's a good school. Got in. And after freshman year, I decided I can't wake up every day figuring out what to paint. That's not going to cut it. I need to problem solve. And my boyfriend was an architect. And I was like, I can do what he does. I want to do that. But before I decided on architecture, freshman year, I had to declare my major by the end of freshman year. They give you freshman foundation first year. Mm-hmm. And they group all the students who applied together: apparel design, textile design, sculpture, glass.
So it didn't matter what art was your favorite. You were in a class with everybody.
So I had the hardest time deciding what to declare. And I was like, there was 1 week I wanted to be a textile designer. The next week I thought, oh, I want to be a set designer. So I've settled on, okay, interior architecture can do set design. Let me do that. And so I switched into the interior architecture department. But my first class I had that semester was with actually a landscape architect. And because they kind of mix up the architectural options, they put together the landscape, interior, whatever. And he said, well, why don't you declare your major in architecture, and you can always do interiors. So, and he was a landscape guy, right? So,
yeah.
So you just never know. So yeah, so I switched into architecture and became an architect, and then became a construction manager, and had no time to paint or do any art until I retired.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait a minute. I got to go back.
Do you have a headache now?
Yeah, no. But first of all, I want to know, why did you travel so much as a kid? What was going on with your parents?
That's a whole nother story. That's going to take you away from art. I can do it quickly.
Can you do like a 5 minute? Because I'm dying to know.
So my mom had breast cancer at a very young age. She was in her 30s, in the late 60s, and that was very unusual. And they told her she only had maybe a few years to live. So my dad sold his business to his brother-in-law, partner, sold a house in a day. We lived in Newton, Massachusetts, and moved to France because my mom knew how to speak a little French, and she loved cooking. So she signed up at the Cordon Bleu. Wow. They took classes at the Alliance Française, and my brother and I went to school at École Active Bilingue, where Maria Shriver, I think, went to school when her dad was an ambassador of France.
La-di-da.
and for 4.5 years, we were like the Robinson Crusoe family, living abroad. Eventually ended up in Israel because of de Gaulle was very anti-Semitic. My last name is Cohen before I got married. And so there was a lot of issues with that. And so my dad thought would be safe, us nucleus family in Israel, right? Go to Israel, come to find out they really don't want the parents, they want the kids to be in the military.
Right.
And after living there for a few years, my brother was just the right age for the military, graduated from 17, high school.
Yeah.
And so we came back to the U.S. But that's kind of why. And then my mom outlived my dad. She died. She was 78 when she finally died.
Oh, wow.
He was only 68. So, they said you only have a few years left. She did pretty well.
Yeah.
So
it was also really lovely that your dad was appeasing your mom and just,
whatever she needed.
Whatever you want, we're doing it.
We're doing it.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it was and so I think that influence of living, especially in Paris I think I was 10 years old at the time, seeing all that architecture and
that was a really different time too in Europe.
Oh yeah, but I think the influence of the Impressionism really is still my favorite period.
See, I knew it would come back to art somehow.
We have to.
I knew it would.
Well, and the paper dolls and the Impressionism.
Yeah.
All the color, the architecture. So I always try to bring perspective into my paintings because I think that's important, and then to tell a story.
Yeah. So that whole time that you were working, you were like, I didn't do any art, so to speak. But wouldn't you consider your work sort of artistic in a way? The problem solving was definitely there.
Yes. So, early on I worked in architectural firms, but that was for like 5 years. And the rest of my career was construction management. So we don't build, we don't design. We're strictly overseeing the process. But as part of that, always problem solving. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love. And that's why the pieces I make now are all about problem solving, which is why I'm so inspired. And every day I'm thinking of a new piece because I create these figure drawings and then I need a home for them. I need a set design.
This is a long way from waking up every day wondering what you were going to paint and, wondering how you were going to tackle your day.
No, so now I have a reason. It's like, because I hate stuff piling up and not having a purpose. Of course, now all my collages are piling up in boxes, right? But at least I feel like I've completed. It's not just a sketch or a figure drawing sitting on a shelf.
Right, that's not doing anything for you.
Exactly.
So let's talk about how you even got to these groups. So you made a big move because she used to live sort of near me.
Yeah.
In Mount Washington, which is in Los Angeles. And then you decided to move basically to Ventura, Santa Paula. And you've got a whole new profession now as a profession.
I don't think you don't call it a profession.
She's an avocado farmer.
Gentleman farmer, right?
A gentleman avocado farmer.
Yeah. So we have an avocado ranch.
So is that what they're called?
I don't know. Maybe it's not a grove, whatever. But we don't work it.
Right. No, but I mean, you own it.
Yes.
And it's all around you.
Yes. 10 acres.
Yeah. All around us is avocado
We
trees.
love avocados.
Yeah. Anyway, so you moved here. You didn't, like we were talking about before, you didn't know anybody.
Nope.
You had to like basically start from scratch and make new friends and the whole deal. And so Meetup became your friend.
Meetup. If anyone doesn't know about Meetup, it's the best thing possible because you find like-minded people in different areas that you're interested in. So I found a wonderful in Camarillo figure drawing group every Tuesday night. Get those figures, live models that you can sketch and draw. I have a plein air painting group that goes out. There's 2 different ones, so twice a month. I can do that if I want to. I don't always. And then hiking and book club. And I'm busier now than ever.
Yeah, and she made all kinds of new friends.
Yes, lots of friends.
But I mean, basically from your figure drawing class is where we've got this new work coming out of.
Yes, collages. Yeah, because prior to that, I was concentrating on stuff from our plein air painting Zoom calls. We would create assignments, right, every month, and we'd share the assignment. During COVID, we were doing, I don't know if other...
They don't know. So during COVID, we were part of a plein air group, and so we couldn't go out and paint together anymore, and you were far away. And so we decided to have monthly calls in which we gave ourselves assignments.
Really silly ones, right? Food was one of them.
Yeah, what are we going to paint? Well, this month we'll paint food.
And then we ventured outside. It's like, okay, so now in the garden, let's paint flowers in the garden. Yeah.
And so we'd have these weekly things.
Monthly.
Close. Right.
Yeah.
Monthly things where we'd have to show up, hopefully with new work.
Right. So
Which didn't always work out, but we tried.
Well, Natalie was missing.
Sorry.
A lot. She was busy with her other stuff.
I'm busy. Busy girl.
She wasn't retired. Like
yeah.
But so I was working in acrylics, then some pastels, and then some oils. So I was doing a lot of mixed media. I was playing because hadn't done art since college.
Well,
right?
and how did you decide to even come back to art? I mean, was it always in the back of your mind?
Yeah, so that's another reason when we did this house, I didn't create a studio because I didn't know what I was going to do. But I knew I wanted to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And was it Robin? I think it was Robin, Rick's wife, who said, hey, why don't you have Lisa join the plein air group?
Oh.
Again, I never really did, but... Yeah, and I can't remember why she brought that up because she brought Danny in too, our other neighbor.
Yeah.
Robin's the connector.
Yeah, she was the connector.
So then that gave me a purpose. But I had already signed up for the figure. I think I was already doing the figure drawing.
Mm. So something had already.
I knew I had.
There was already something buzzing there.
Yeah. But it was like starting from scratch because that was how many years? 40 years of not doing anything.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
But it's like riding a horse.
Yeah. So how rusty were you when you got back to figure drawing? How hard was it?
Well, I can see a big difference in my work now. I think I was It was okay, but it wasn't. It was
Maybe not fluid.
Loose. I'm very loose, like you, right? We're
Yeah.
loose artists.
Loosey-goosey, yeah.
But I can just see more three-dimensionality, more richness coming out because of the medium.
Yeah.
I'm using pastels. I was using kind of a Pentel.
Is it Conti Crayon? Oh, no.
No, it's kind of those, they're basically markers with a brush
Oh,
tip.
the brush markers.
So I was just doing that and then adding a little color here and there. Now I'm doing the figure in pastel, full color without any line work. So I think the lines kind of take away from a three-dimensional look unless you're just doing a line piece.
Yeah. Lines also make the loose work not look loose anymore.
It can do that, and it can also make it look flatter.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get light and dark. But because we only have 20-25 minutes to do it, I don't have time to do the environment around.
Yeah.
So that's why the collages come into play, because now I can cut them up.
I know we didn't talk about this, but do you have any any just figure drawings that you haven't cut out yet, like that you've done in class?
I have, but they're upstairs.
I can wait.
Can you wait?
Yes, I can wait.
Oh, but can they wait?
They can wait. They'll wait. She'll be right back.
It's like a whole.
I'm just gonna sit here and chat. She'll be right back. She's quick. Hey Sandy. Hey Jaime. How you doing? Got you two here. I'm appreciative of that. It's nice and gray. I'm in Ventura right now. I love gray days. I'm sort of dreading hot weather season, honestly. It's not that fun. The stuff that she's doing though.
Okay, I'm coming down.
And the way she's like taking all these little pieces. Oh, hey Georgia, you're there too. Oh, good. It's only telling me that 2 people are here, so I didn't know. Hi, Georgia.
All right.
Okay, see, I knew it wouldn't take very long. Here she is. Okay, be careful of that
cord.
Yeah, my cord.
Don't trip on my own house.
So I didn't even think about asking you about this, but I was just thinking that we should maybe see the beginning.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I have earlier pieces here, I think.
Oh, these are cool. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay, so this is like your early one that you were talking about line work?
Yeah, more line work.
So these are really fluid though and beautiful. They're very dancer. I'm gonna take this so that you can see it top to bottom. And people are naked generally in the figure drawing class?
Yeah.
This is wonderful. But there's no marker on this one. This one's just charcoal.
No, that's marker.
Oh, that's marker?
Yep,
Amazing.
they're all with marker.
These are, I don't know what you're saying about, okay, maybe you've got better, but these are really good.
Well, different. But it's funny because I can't go back to do this. I don't know how to do this anymore.
Georgia just said these are beautiful. They really are.
Here's one so then I started venturing with a little bit of this color.
A little bit of color in this one. So you can see how, just like in a regular figure class, they do poses. Do they start with shorter poses so that you can warm up, Lisa?
Yeah, so these are like 2 or 5 minute poses. Then this one is probably a little longer, maybe 10, 15. And then so I started introducing color. There's another one in color.
Wow.
But still using marker.
And these are still early with the marker.
Yeah.
It's hard to. There we go.
And then I started realizing, I took a pastel class from Maggie Dyer. And she got me to realize, maybe I should use pastel. So here's, and so what I did is prepare the paper ahead of time with acrylic.
Uh-huh.
And then.
Does that make the pastel work better?
It seems to, it holds. Yeah, it doesn't seem to.
With acrylic what? Acrylic.
So I use a chalky paint Fleur chalky paint. I don't know if
Oh.
you've ever used that.
No. What is that?
It's really cool. I think I found it by accident.
Fleur chalk paint?
Fleur chalky paint. And so I pour that onto the paper, and then I use the squeegee.
I'm just going to put this here.
I squeegee it on.
Fleur chalky paint.
Chalky paint. Or
it almost makes me think that maybe there's like gesso medium in it or something.
I don't know, but I do it on either Stonehenge paper or other types of different papers.
I can see how this would make the pastels adhere better because it gives it a different sort of tooth.
A little tooth to it. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
And that's a little different. This one I use acrylic flow paint instead of
flow paint.
this one.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
You
handed it to me like this. All right.
So it comes out a little different. I like this one. This guy looks like Gandhi.
He does look like Gandhi.
Yeah. So that's more recent, and then I think this is one of the more, let's see, recent ones. I'll show you one more.
Okay. Just taking it all the way up. Gosh. Okay.
This is the
all
last one. So yeah.
So
you can see there's a progression a little bit.
Okay. So now let's like sort of walk through your process a little bit.
Okay.
So like, I don't know. Yeah, you want to take one as an example, sort of like what you would do?
Okay. So I take this,
So
I cut it out, and then I look at it for a while.
Now, does it make you sad? I mean, especially when you've got backgrounds and stuff. Like, no,
because I'm doing these every week, and there's
so you're just like they're
3
just
or 4 of them
multiplying.
at a time.
I'm so happy to hear that they're not like precious.
Nothing's precious, no.
That's great.
But
So-
the ones that are still here is because I can't figure out what to do with them.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So this guy didn't inspire me much. But you'll see in some of the works that, it's messy.
It's okay.
That sometimes I'll take a male figure and a female figure, and I'll lay them out, and I'll say, And there's an example of one where the female model's like this, and the male model is sitting like this. And I had cut them out, I placed them on the floor, and I go, looks like she could hand him something. What could she hand him? He looks really bored. She looks terrorized, maybe a baby. So then I have to figure out, okay, so now I need a child's room. I need a baby. So I go online and I look at baby images, and I try to find one where he's being handed from one parent to the other. And then I kind of blow up the image to fit the size of my piece, and then trace that out and then draw it with pastel.
Mm-hmm.
And cut that out. But first I do the set design and then lay the images. That's
Wow.
it.
Okay. Now, there's sort of the
start.
piece that started it all. So I'm going to have to stand back just a little bit because it's pretty big.
Yeah, so it's really hard to see, but it's supposed to be an urban scape with cars and buildings. And the inspiration was from our plein air painters. We lost one of our members, and he was an urban planner.
Right.
And
we're talking about Rick Wilson.
Yep.
There's no good way for me to bring this one up close. I can tilt it.
That's okay. But in any event, that my daughter had bought me these beautiful papers for my birthday. So this was the brown here, and then these little were cutouts from different paper. But to come up with the image, so that was an interesting thing. I was like, what the hell am I going to do? So have you guys ever played with AI?
Oh, this is a hot topic in our group.
Okay.
And lots of people don't want to know about this.
Okay, but it's a tool. Just like when I go on Google to look for an image of something missing from my piece, right? Because I can't do it from my head. And just like in the old days, they used to find things to be able to create reality from. So I used AI and I punched in urban building cars. and it showed an image that sort of resembles of buildings with trees. And so I used that to inspire me to create that, and then I used the papers and acrylic paint to make it work.
Interesting.
But that's the first and only time I used it, because the other stuff haven't needed to. Yeah, I could.
But you could.
I could.
It's like something in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Pocket. Everybody is really worried in the group about having their style stolen by AI. I don't know.
I mean, creativity is it ever anything really original? Right? I mean, we're always seeing and borrowing and learning and
reinterpreting.
Yeah. So if AI wants to steal it, great. I'm complimented by that. Go for it, AI.
All right, I'm going to pull another one. And just so you know, these are extra shiny because they're all wrapped up so that they're protected.
Yeah, because of the pastels. Yeah.
So talk about this.
So this is Kia model, right? So this was all cut out from the figure drawing class, and she looked so much like a model sitting there, I couldn't figure out what else to do with her. So I decided to make her have a light shining on her, just like in the studio. And I happen to have these two papers. So I used the white to be the light and the black to be the dark. And that was that.
I love how this whole paper doll thing of yours sort of translated. I'm going to move this just a little bit because I can't quite get this over here. Like, I just want to be able to bring it all the way forward.
Well, the paper doll thing really comes into play when you see me dressing some of these, because then I found, not everyone wants to see nudes, right? So maybe I need to put clothes on some of them.
Right. Well, and that's a really interesting point. Not everybody wants to see naked people.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that I'm selling anything anyway.
Right.
But at some point, maybe somebody will want something.
Right.
But,
okay. So here, and these are a lot bigger than I even imagined. I had no idea that they were so large.
Well, they have to be because the figure drawings have to fit on something.
Right. Exactly.
So this was Kia, started off as Kia, but it was only for 20 minutes. And so then I needed more time, and I didn't have a picture of her. So I went online and looked for black female portrait of a face, an image, photograph, and finished her up. And it was amazing because she was like her doppelganger. It was the exact same position.
You got lucky.
I got lucky. So yeah, so I put clothes on her because all I had was the face, the head floating. So at least now she's got a body. And put some little tiles on it. So it's a little three-dimensional. Some of the pieces have a little three-dimension to
These right here, I'm going to put my hand over it.
That's okay.
These right here are tile pieces, and so it's almost bas-relief-ish. They're still.
Yeah. So some, I don't think any of the others have that.
And then what's paper? So this is paper.
This is painted.
This is painted. This is paper.
Painted on paper, actually.
Okay.
This is the original pastel drawing, and then these are remnants. So when I cut out the figures, I have pieces left over
from the actual
from the background
work.
that I create before I do the pastel drawings.
Yeah.
So I use a lot of those pieces because they just create more interest. So the really only paper are these pieces and that.
Now, we were talking about, like, when you're a collage artist, all of a sudden you've got all these pieces of paper hanging out that you don't want to get rid of because God knows you could probably use it on something. You just don't know where or when or how or why.
That's true. So I need a new space with lots of drawers.
So, but how do you have like some idea on how you're going to organize it? Are you going to organize it by color?
No.
No?
No.
What? How?
I'm going to organize it by probably more pattern.
Oh.
Like solids. And then types of pattern. Because I don't think I'm going to have that ability with that many drawers. Small space. So it might be like where I got the paper from, because there's a certain type of paper that's different. And I don't have that much of a collection yet, because I just started doing this. So.
I'm thinking that's gonna change.
Yeah, probably will. So right now I don't have that problem, but I do try. So I hate waste.
Right.
And I find that I like the original papers my daughter got, had a stack like that. I only have like a few remnants left. I've used up. I find a way to use it in everything.
Yeah.
So I won't go shopping again for any more paper for a while, which is good because it's expensive.
I know. Part of me wants to go over there and go grab a couple of pieces just to show.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. Now it's your turn to talk to them.
Okay. So who's on? Who's on?
Georgia and Jaime and there's somebody else and Sandy.
Okay. So have any of you guys done collages?
They probably have.
Have they?
Yeah.
Okay. Do they like to do collages?
Sandy is an amazing acrylic artist. She just had a show in Montclair.
Nice.
And Georgia taught art and is primarily a printmaker, but she's exploring acrylics right now.
Well, see, now she, as a printmaker, could make her own papers,
Ooh.
right? Because she could create.
I just went to the bottom of the stack.
Yeah, these are recent acquisitions, so they're not cut up yet.
Right. Well, that's what I was trying to do. I was just trying to get examples of paper that you can find.
So this, I could see this being like on a wall.
Yeah,
background.
Like wallpaper.
Wallpaper. Yeah.
Also, if you were doing something for Gay Pride or something like
there
that,
you go.
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That would work.
Every color in the rainbow.
I love
these. These are beautiful.
These are gorgeous. I'm guessing these are more expensive.
Yeah. So I have no idea yet what to do with these, but
these have texture to them
these
too.
Could be clothing, but it would have to be a bigger, like a
portrait. because it's not very
you won't see it.
Yeah.
Small. Yeah. It's just beautiful paper.
It is. Here it is in yellow and green too. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah. So the problem is I took my daughter with me to the store, and she's a shopper, so.
So she was finding these things.
She's finding these, yeah. Like, oh God, you're dangerous.
And then
these look like silkscreen prints almost.
These also look like wallpapers.
Yeah.
Really or
good.
rugs.
Could be
depending
rugs.
on how. Here's another one.
Yeah, it's really
just fun.
Bright and fun.
Sandy says that she enjoys mixed media.
Well, girl after my own heart.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I like.
And she does. She's been playing with sculpture.
Yeah.
These are so fun.
I mean, yeah, you don't want to even touch them because they're so beautiful.
Well, I know, and I don't. I mean, collage is like perfect for them, but I mean, I would imagine like an ordinary person that's not an artist would look at these and go, "Oh, I can wrap paper presents in these,
or frame it."
Yeah.
Just because they're
so
beautiful. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pull another one. We're pulling another.
So this one has more remnants, right? So these little pieces left over, I was able to make little gift boxes from. So here's an instance where I actually made my own paper, because those were backgrounds to some of my paintings where I actually, not paintings, pastel drawings of the figures where I actually worked on a surface that was very textured. Oh, there's an example actually. There's one piece in here somewhere. Oh yeah, this one. Not quite as textured, but here's one where what I do is take the gel print. I don't know if they can see the texture on that.
I think.
And sometimes use a stencil or.
Oh yeah, you can see it.
Yeah. So then I had remnants of the background of some of my pieces that had that texture, and then included that. I think I was running out of paper, so I decided to make my own. That's cheaper. Probably should do that more often.
Well, there's so many ways to make like repeating prints.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then I had a little gold leaf left over from our trip to. We went to do a river cruise in Europe, and we went to the Klimt Museum, and there was a little time that they had us do a little art project, and they gave us some gold leaf, so I have some gold leaf left over.
Put it in your pocket. It said, "Thanks, Klimt Museum."
Yeah, it was great. No, no, we paid for that class, so.
All right.
And then this is my favorite. I did this for Mother's Day. So this one I actually paint. I used tape of little circles and painted, and then pasteled in. And so really the only paper used in this one was this green, and just the green. Everything else was hand painted and cut out from remnants. So
these are so beautiful. I love how you make them into a story.
Yeah. So that's that, and you can see the perspective is always there, just whether it's an angled view into the room. I tried to avoid head on, although this one's more head on, but it's
here. I was going to say, and now we'll see head on.
It's a 1-point perspective, right? Because you've got the wall behind. It's kind of, the lines are not straight, so it's still creating a little less flatness.
Yeah.
But yeah. And she's got a cat. The cat actually has little feathers from a feather.
Now, I mean, we talked about having a story and everything, but I mean, I know there's people that create elaborate stories, not necessarily in their work, but in their heads.
Oh.
Do you have elaborate stories for these people?
I'm not that deep. So it's more like, okay, the model's sitting. I need something of interest. She looks really bored.Maybe I'll stick a cat on her lap. Yeah.
This is truly problem solving.
It's problem.
Yeah,
I am not
completely.
I don't. I'm not that creative, I guess. Create a whole backstory.
Well, you know what? I'm not sure I would go there. This has never been my forte. Like, even as a kid, I was never the kid that could play pretend very well.
I did like pretend.
Did you?
I had a girlfriend, and before we moved away, we would play orphans like we were from Oliver. So yeah, I was a little weird. But
yeah, no, I never did any of that. Problem solving was problem solving.
Yes.
You know, how do I make a cake when there's no cake mix in the
There
house?
you go. There you go. So this is the one where the model is handing the baby. So I call this one, what do I call this? Disillusionment. And then I just finished a piece called Anticipation, where the mother is pregnant.
Oh.
And then it's like, oh my God, what did I do?
Now you have to have one where maybe you call joy or something, like the baby being born.
Well, that was the mother.
Right.
So I didn't call it joy, but yeah, that's good. When the baby's sleeping, it's joy.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right. Yeah.
So now we've got three.
Baby sleeping
a triptych.
Is joy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I love how large they are, though. How much space there is to actually express, and be able to play. Because when you have smaller surfaces,
it limits
that. You don't get to have any place to mess around.
Yeah, I got plenty of place to mess around.
How big are these? Like what?
20 by 30.
20 by 30. That's pretty.
It's pretty big.
It's sizable.
Yeah. So it costs a lot to frame.
Yeah.
That's the downside.
You might have to find different framing options.
I think so. Yeah.
Have you met Michaels?
Yeah. Well, the problem is I don't really like frames.
Yeah.
So my daughter mentioned that there's ways you can do it in a gallery where you can just clip and not have it framed.
Yeah.
But because they're pastel, they have to be protected.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a cheap way.
No, probably not.
Especially if there's 3D.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking about your husband's fix up there for the dog door, the dog gate. Her husband used a piece of plexiglass. What if you guys figured out how to get 2 plexiglass sheets exactly right, and then you could even use clips to clip them and then hang them from there? Maybe that's the way to do it. It'd be a lot less expensive.
Yes, it would. I think I'm gonna thank Natalie later for that. Yeah. No, definitely have to figure it out.
I'm just working off of your husband's idea. I mean, if he was able to do that,
Yeah,
I think he
can cut plexi.
He's a problem solver.
I'm going to keep him busy.
Yeah, because he's got a woodworking studio.
Yes, he does. But he doesn't like to get projects from me, right?
Yeah.
If my daughter asked, no problem. Yeah. Yeah.
That's that we'll talk about that later.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, what do you have any plans about like how do you think this is going to progress? I mean, you just told me that you've got your first 2 pieces in a show. Yeah. When does the show open?
It opened yesterday.
It did. Did you go?
Yes. No.
What?
Well, I dropped off the pieces. I'm going to go to the reception.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's not hung yet?
It is.
Oh, it is. Okay.
So I guess they hung it for yesterday.
Okay.
For the opening. The opening was yesterday.
Okay.
But the reception is on the 11th.
Okay.
So I'll go to that.
That's exciting.
Yes. And all the pieces that were being dropped off, I could see were oils and pastels.
More traditional.
So mine kind of sticks out like a sore thumb.
I was going to say, it sounds like it's a wonderful place for your work to be, because if there's all this traditionalness around it and then yours isn't so traditional, I think that sounds great.
I don't know. It depends on the show. Depends on the audience. So it's in Westlake Village, pretty traditional area.
You never know, though.
Yeah, we'll see. But it's fun to, at least it was a jury show, so at least somebody liked it.
Liked it enough to take it, yeah.
You have to put it in the show. So.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's a start. I don't know where it goes from here. I have no plan.
Yeah.
I'm just making stuff, and if it goes somewhere, great. If not.
How long is it going to be up?
Till the end of, I think it's like June 28th or something like that.
Oh, okay, so just a month, roughly.
Yeah. It's a quick one. But hopefully it's not the last, and hopefully I can get rid of some of this. Because I'm on my 28th now.
This is what we always talk about, you know. You don't want to be your own collector.
No. Well, I mean, my 104-year-old mother-in-law, who started the Mount Washington Plein Air Painters, Marion, started with them, rather. Yeah. She, when she passed, she had all these watercolors. I had to give them away.
Yeah.
You know, and she wouldn't give away. She's like, I have to sell my work. It's like, Marion, just give it to people who enjoy it. So when she passed in the facility she was in, the old ladies were also happy to be able to have a piece
of her work. I bet.
Yeah. So anyway,
I mean, the selling work is great, but I mean, don't hold out. I mean, you know, I'm like,
yeah. So anyway, I guess my kids will have to deal with it when I'm gone. Boxes and boxes of collages.
Boxes of collages.
But you know, when something moves you
to
do it,
you just keep doing it.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Are there other things that you would think you might want to explore?
You know, I always thought, gee, maybe I should try to make my own paper making, print making. Those are areas I think that would be of interest, but I wouldn't have the room to be able to do it here. I mean, I could take classes, and
I can teach you how to make paper. I know how.
You know how to make, you can do it from your kitchen sink, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, Natalie's going to teach me a class. I'm going to come to Mount Washington.
I'm going to give you like the 15-minute version here. You don't need to come see me.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I just boil it. And
you don't even boil it. You just take all the old paper scraps that you find wherever. Just make sure they're wood pulp, not plastic.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell everybody.
Okay.
And then you put them in a blender with water. Literally. You're messing up all the strands. So this is not going to be very strong paper, but it will be fun paper. Okay. And so depending on the paper that you have, the darker the paper, obviously, the darker the stuff you start out with, the darker the paper in the end. But you then you put it into like a shallow plastic bin. And then I didn't even make screens. I just got pieces of like screens that were pretty stiff.
I have some. Yeah.
And then I just put it in the water and then lift it up. If it looked like it was thick enough, I'd keep it. If it didn't, then I'd put it back. and then I lift it up until I got the thickness that I
It's like
wanted.
mining for gold.
Yes. And then you just set it somewhere so that it dries, and usually within 24 hours you can just peel the paper right off.
Okay, I'm doing it.
And then you can add stuff to it. You can put gold flecks in it. So like if you had, sheets of gold leaf or tin foil.
What about color?
Yeah, why not?
Add paint to it?
Yeah, you could add paint to it. The thing is, you have to be careful getting it wet though. I mean, because it'll fall apart. That's the only sucky part. But clear gesso medium.
Gel medium?
Gel medium will work too.
Okay, because that's what I use.
Yeah, there's gel medium or gesso medium. Either of those on top should keep it in place.
Okay.
And then once you put gel medium on it, you should be able, you can do anything. Yeah.
Okay, that's my next thing. Try that.
and then you can do anything you want.
Wow.
Yeah, put string in it.
Damn. Sewing machine.
Yeah. You got pieces of fabric.
Yeah, someone gave me a whole bunch of remnants of fabric.
Yeah. All of that stuff.
That's exciting. Okay, so
there you go. Now you're a paper maker. This is my family's secret inside joke about me. They would be describing me to friends and they'd be like, she even makes her own paper.
What don't you do? That's a whole nother story.
I hate gardening. Gardening. I'm a terrible gardener. You really think, wait a minute, you're an avocado farmer, but
I don't do it. I have some tomatoes growing in the back, but they have to do it themselves.
Oh my gosh.
I can't get involved. Someone told me, well, you take off certain leaves, and no.
Yeah.
So, no, I'll stick to art.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Okay, well, let's see what's going on. Deli paper is excellent to paint designs. Yes, that's true. Like the deli sheets
that you get waxy type.
There's also jelly printing for you too.
I love gel printing.
Yeah, there you go.
Is it called jelly or gel?
Jelly, gel, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's what I use sometimes on the paper to get different.
Yeah.
I love that.
There you go.
Messy.
Yeah.
Love it.
But I mean, talk about, you can, spending an hour with that and you can easily produce 100 pieces of paper.
Yes. But I still like some of those papers.
Yeah.
You just can't use it all at once. It's like candy. Or going into a bead shop and all those beads. Oh my God. So you have to just close your eyes and pick one and say, okay, I'm going to work with this.
Do you think that you'll add more architecture to your work?
Well, that last one.
Yeah, with the that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the necklace piece.
Necklace, but also the one with arches.
Oh yeah.
So I think I might have more architectural elements or buildings behind. Could be fun, more challenging. So the more pieces I work on, the more challenging I make it, because then I have to really problem solve. I've got to figure out the order of what I'm laying down first, if I'm going to paint it, the background, and then I've got to tape off areas, if I'm bringing in light into a room. So yeah, it gets more into the problem solving side.
Isn't it funny how problem solving is your personal thing that makes you move forward, and some people would see problem solving as a complete disaster and we'd be like, I can't create because there's an issue.
Yeah, no, see,
that's so interesting.
That is the part I think that drives me to keep doing it.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun. First is the inspiration, and then it's solving it.
The funny thing about this is, though, it will always have an issue, a problem to solve, because there'll always be a figure that you're looking for a situation for.
Yeah, this is kind of like endless. Although someone told me the other day, they said, well, you should do landscape that way.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm thinking, yeah, but
why? Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have these figures, I got to use them.
Right.
What's going to motivate me to do? That's why I gave up painting as my major, because it's like, what am I going to do? I mean, so then people, really famous people, right, really amazing painters, do abstract, whatever, they're always thinking of things in their head that inspires their muse to create. I don't work that way.
Yeah.
So it's just different type of brain.
Do you think there was something that something your parents did, like when you were a kid, that made you a problem solver?
I don't know. Do you think you're born that way?
I don't know. That's what I'm contemplating.
I don't know.
Were either of your parents like problem solvers in that way? Do you know?
I don't think so. I
No?
mean, my dad was a businessman.
What did he do?
He had his own stationery store before he moved, and then when he came back, it was really hard to work again,
Yeah, I
right?
bet.
So then he worked for Woolworths. He worked for a computer thing. It was more of a salesman type. He really never found his groove after when he came back. And my mother was a stay-at-home mom until we came back. And then she worked for the government, for the Securities and Exchange Commission. Started as a receptionist, became an administrative officer.
Wow.
And they moved her from Boston to California, which is why
Why
we're
you're
out here. Yeah. So she maybe was a problem solver.
I'm
She
thinking
ran an
too. I mean,
office.
well, the other thing is too, she had a curiosity about food, and she went to the Cordon Bleu.
Yeah.
And I mean, food is always a problem, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you make it taste good? How do you cook it?
How do you make it look good?
How do you make it look good? How do you make all the things meld? I mean,
Yeah.
it's an art.
I guess so. She was a problem solver.
Interesting.
I think you're born with that
Probably.
ability.
I mean, I
Or
would
interest.
I would veer to say that as well, but it's just always interesting to me.
Yeah.
How
I mean,
it
it's not
works.
like I had engineers as parents or anything.
Yeah.
That would be a real problem solver.
Yeah.
So,
See, I did have a father who was an engineer.
okay. Did that influence you, Miss Musician Artist?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe you knew what you didn't want to be.
Maybe.
Too funny.
All right. Well, let's see. My kind of gardeners. What the kind of gardeners that like just
Whatever.
throw seeds out and then it just happens. That's the kind of gardener I want to be. You know, I look at some seeds. I'm like, oh, these are sunflowers, and then I throw them, and then
That's what we did with our poppies.
a few weeks
And they
later,
grew everywhere.
the yellow ones that I saw coming up to the property. Oh, they're so pretty.
Yeah, they're already going by.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my kind of
Yeah, that's me too.
too much work.
All right. Well,
We did it.
anybody? Yeah, we did it.
Awesome.
I know. Thank you. Thank you for saying.
Thank you for asking.
Are you kidding? This is
Kind of cool.
This is fun. All right, you guys. Throw seeds out and hope for the best. That is exactly what
That's
I like.
kind of like doing our art. You know, we throw the paint on, we see what happens, and some people like it and some don't, and that's okay too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you're not put on the planet to be everybody's friend or everybody's favorite.
Nope.
You just
But
do
we do
your
all
own
love
thing.
flowers. We do love flowers.
I like being other people's favorite, but come on.
Don't expect it.
Exactly. It'll be a surprise.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Any last words?
last words. Just keep on painting.
Yeah.
Everybody, right? I mean, that's whatever floats your boat. I think it makes, I remember my mom saying, you know, I'd come home every night in high school from that awful painting class every night with rosy cheeks. I say awful because the work was terrible that I did,
But you loved it.
I loved it. And I get in a meditative mode. Every Tuesday night I go, I'm exhausted before I go. And when I come back, I can't fall asleep because it's so energizing and I love it so much. So I'm sure everyone who's part of your group feels the same way because it's better than meditation.
Yeah. The excitement. We talk about how exciting it is.
Yeah. And you get lost in the work. And I think that's the best part.
I love it when I open my eyes and I look at something and I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it? And then I open my eyes again and it's done and I don't know how it happened.
Yeah. And sometimes you're at the middle of it and it's like, I'm ready to throw it away.
Yeah. There's that too.
But then you just keep on going and it's like, oh.
The ugly stage. And I always remind myself, there's always an ugly stage, Natalie. You can get past the ugly stage.
But see, I convinced myself that, I can cut up that paper later and use it somehow. So I'm never afraid anymore.
All right, you guys. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.